Do you have trouble sleeping at night? Do you wake up in the morning feeling tired and focused instead of refreshed and wide awake? Do you have trouble slowing down racing thoughts that just won't shut the hell up when you're trying to get to sleep? Ben here, and in this video I'm going to break down 4 unusual sleep tips you can try tonight and one source of sleep disruption that we don't typically associate with poor sleep quality at all. So let's dive in. Work harder, run faster, think smarter. The hustle until you die culture is killing us. Millions are stressed and depressed. I was one of them. I went on a 90-day mission to biohack my way back to health. The result? My best-selling book Unstoppable, daily journal, an online program that's changed thousands of lives and is praised by athletes, psychologists, and doctors. And now, it's your turn to become unstoppable. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben and I've helped tens of thousands of people biohack their way out of depression, fatigue and stress back into optimal health. And in this video, we're going to explore the impacts to sleep quality ranging from bacteria, neurobiology, nutrition, to cerebral hypothermia with practical steps that you can take today, including one you can do immediately if you're having trouble sleeping right now. Now, before we begin, stick around to the very end because I'm going to tell you how to get your free online gut health report that puts you on the path to healing your weight, mind and mood. And I'm also going to send you 2 free chapters from my brand new book, Mind Control, that explores the latest in nutritional psychology and the gut microbiome for better gut and mental health, including how your gut microbiome influences your sleep quality. The exciting thing about addressing sleep issues is that when you do, you'll find that unexplained weight gain starts to fall off, you have more energy, you're more focused, and you're more driven, but you get more done. The problem is most of us have trouble turning off our over-imaginative brain when our head hits the pillow or we wake up in the middle of the night. I can totally relate to that. You see, to date, I've written 5 books that literally equates to over 500,000 words. When I'm deep in the writing and creative process, shutting off my brain at night requires me finding its off switch, whatever it might be at that particular time. You see, we all have an off switch when it comes to calming down our brain so we can slip into a restful night's sleep, but it can take some exploration to find out what that off switch is, and it's not always where you think you'd expect it to be. As you know, sleep is essential because without it, if you're anything like me, you're going to be a cranky ass bitch with the tolerance capacity of a peanut, which, let's face it, peanuts don't actually have a capacity for tolerance to begin with. Worse yet, poor sleep disrupts your hunger hormones, which is going to send you lunging for sugars, carbs and caffeine the next day, which further compounds the whole problem. It also disrupts your gut microbiome, which can lead to imbalances and poor nutrient absorption that impacts everything from weight, mood, metabolism, hunger, and yes, sleep. So to help, I'm going to step you through 4 of the 10 advanced sleeping tips that I teach our members in my Trust Your Gut program, in which I teach people how to biohack their weight, mind and mood through their gut microbiome and nutritional psychology. But first up, we turn to the gut. You see, bulk of existing research has focused on understanding psychological, physiological and societal factors in relation to sleep quality. But new studies have found associations between sleep physiology and gut microbiome composition. In one of the first studies of its kind released in 2019, researchers found associations between sleep, the immune system, and measures of cognition and emotion. This is leading to a better understanding of how these factors are connected to the bidirectional communication between you, the host, and your brain, and your gut microbiome that's going to lead to new sleep intervention strategies. And here's where it gets really interesting. Researchers found that total microbiome diversity was positively correlated with increased sleep efficiency and total sleep time, while it was negatively correlated with wake after sleep onset. Let me bottom line it for you. New research, including fecal transplants, have shown to alter behavior in individuals with autism, reduced epileptic seizures, and aided in weight loss. Sleep is simply the next step in this exploration. You see, specific gut-associated species of bacteroidetes are related to neurotransmitters that promote sleep. Your gut is like a little drug factory, but it needs the right guest to produce them, which means gut health is mental health, especially when sleep is related. The problem, stress, medications, poor dietary habits, can wipe out healthy bacteria while promoting the growth of opportunistic bacteria and yeast that cause a whole host of problems that we misdiagnose as a lack of willpower. So to improve sleep, energy, metabolism, and aid in weight management, you'll need to increase microbial diversity by eating the rainbow of unadulterated foods, foods that are closest to their natural form as possible. Now, that's not the only way your gut impairs your sleep. Keep watching for tip 4, which is the next major factor in this complex puzzle that's thankfully easy to solve when you know what to do. But first, let's move on to tip number 2, dream incubation. At the start of the pandemic, many of us started having vivid dreams. It was our brain's way of trying to comprehend this invisible threat on top of the total disruption to life. Interestingly, scientists even became concerned that gut microbial diversity, linked to step number 1, would drop as a result of a lack of social interactions due to the pandemic, but more on that shortly. Most of us at some stage in our lives have either had nightmares or vivid dreams. They make us feel unstable, like the ground is falling out beneath us. To increase sleep quality, dream researchers suggest we do something called dream incubation. Dream incubation is a simple process of thinking about something that you would rather dream about just as you're getting ready for bed. So as you lay in bed, you can suggest to yourself repeatedly what you'd rather dream about instead. Furthermore, the next morning, analyzing your dreams can help you to process what your fears or concerns are and then put positive thoughts and actions into play to help you move into a more positive and productive time of sleep. I've got a question for you. Have you been having weird dreams since the pandemic began? Drop us a comment below with your weirdest one today. I know I've had a few doozies myself, but here's what you need to remember. Setting your intention before bed by directing it towards positive thoughts will also help you to reduce amygdala activity that's associated with your fight or flight response. Bottom line, you're not going to sleep if that's been activated because it's on the active lookout for a threat. Falling asleep is not in its plan to keep you safe. The problem is most people have trouble deactivating their stress response before bed, which is exactly where our next tip comes into play. 3, put your brain on ice. This is where we dive into neurobiology. Insomniacs experience a disorder known as hyperarousal, once again connected to your amygdala. Eric A. Nofzinger, a psychiatrist at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine, who worked on a study that looked at how cooling the brain using a method known as cerebral hypothermia showed that a cooling device insomniacs slept with reduced cerebral metabolic activity. According to the researchers, a reduction in metabolism in the brain's frontal cortex occurs while asleep and is also linked to restorative sleep. And if you want to check out the device, it's called Ebb Sleep. I'm in no way connected to the product at all. But what's fascinating about this is that researchers found that they were able to reduce brain activity and lull the individuals into sleep. An overactive brain is one piece of the puzzle that many of us struggle with when getting a good night's rest. As you probably know, room temperature has been heavily discussed in the biohacking community in relation to sleep, but now we're getting far more targeted. If I've had a long day, I pop an ice pack on my forehead to reduce my brain's activity, especially if I've spent all day writing or filming. This is especially useful for when I just can't switch off those racing thoughts. This knocks me out like a light and I'm asleep within around 10 minutes. But better yet, I wake up feeling refreshed and good to go the next day. But of course, this can only go so far because increasing your sleep quality takes a multifaceted approach. Thankfully, it's easy to do, but nothing will have a bigger impact on you than addressing the next step in combination with the ones that I've just shared. Which leads us to number 4, nutritional deficiencies. As you've learned, when we think about sleep, we don't think gut health. Well, most also fail to consider nutritional deficiencies, and here's where all of the pieces start to intersect. You see, there are 3 key vitamins that you'll need to consider to optimize sleep quality, including vitamins A, B6, and D. Vitamin D3 deficiencies are also associated with sleep disorders. B6 deficiency has been linked to sleep disturbances, and vitamin A is a vital contributor to setting and maintaining your circadian rhythm. Furthermore, nutritional deficiencies are also linked to depression, erratic behavior, and anxiety, which also impacts sleep. The challenge when we think about fixing deficiencies, we look at taking a handful of supplements, but while they can give you a boost, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will correct an underlying problem, which leads us right back to step 1, your gut health. And here's what you need to remember. Sleep is more than just meditation, cold therapy, the bacteria in your gut, managing stress effectively, turning off social media, and wearing blue blockers. It's also about ensuring that you're absorbing nutrients from the foods that you eat so your brain can be rehabilitated each night when you go to bed. If you're experiencing digestive issues like constipation, diarrhea, bloating, and gas, your gut health has been compromised, which impacts nutrient absorption, which may be impacting your sleep quality. Furthermore, experts agree eating earlier in the evening better supports your circadian rhythm. Thankfully, restless nights can be a thing of the past and are easy to solve with a few steps, including the ones that we've just discussed, and a few this video just simply isn't long enough to include. This includes increasing microbial diversity, addressing any overgrowth of bad bacteria, and removing and replacing foods in your diet that are causing inflammation and impacting your mood and behavior that's going to keep you up at night. An impact that hasn't been widely discussed that does have an overall impact on our health has occurred during the pandemic, which is due to a lack of social interaction, we may have inadvertently triggered a lack of microbial diversity. Of course, we can't go out and lick our friends on the face, but we can increase diversity through the foods that we eat, or even going out and standing in the sand or dirt and getting back to nature. For everything to change, you need to remember this one big takeaway. Nothing lives in isolation. It's all interconnected, especially when it comes to sleep. When our members address sleep issues, their brain lights up like a Christmas tree. They can finally focus, stress, anxiety, and depression subsides, and they find themselves naturally focused and driven without trying to force themselves to be positive. The problem is most people have trouble connecting all of the dots because they don't have an overall roadmap to follow. They miss or forget a step simply because their sleep-deprived brain has reduced their capacity to think clearly and sharply. Which is why I've created for you a free online gut health report that's going to help you to identify your likelihood of obesity, fatigue, digestive distress, carb cravings, and more, based on our survey of over 50,000 people and 1.5 million pieces of data from around the globe. This is designed to help you identify both biological and psychological issues that may be impacting your sleep, your weight, your mind, and your mood. Then to help you even further, we're also going to give you the introduction and 2 free chapters from my brand new book, Mind Control: How to Biohack Your Weight, Mind, and Immune System using nutritional psychology and the gut microbiome. Mind Control is the follow-up to my bestseller, Unstoppable. The one best self-help book of 2020 has been translated into 2 languages, is now in its 2nd edition, and has sold over 80,000 copies. Unstoppable has been praised by doctors, psychologists, nutritionists, and athletes, which is why I'm so excited to present the follow-up Mind Control, because it's going to help you to take back control of your mood, understand why you eat what you eat, why we're physically full but emotionally empty, the missing micronutrients, and your starving brain, the best diets for treating depression, anxiety, fatigue, as well as various other gut health related issues, plus so much more. As you already know, it's so easy to get overwhelmed by dietary advice and health advice that's conflicting in nature. Mind Control makes it easy and takes the pain out of the process. So if you're interested in your free gut health report to see how your gut may be impacting your sleep as well as your mood and mental health issues, and getting your sample chapters from Mind Control, click the link in the description below. In the meantime, hit like, subscribe, and drop us a comment. What was your number one biggest takeaway from this video? I'd love to know. But for now, here's to a better night's sleep. Catch you next week. Take care.